All right, this is going to be a fun video. I am just going to review a video by the one and only Dave Ramsey, and let's talk about it. Let me just share my screen. Let's talk about. There's a person that was on a call with Dave Ramsey, and that person said, "I have $70,000." Whoa. Whoa. Slow down here. What's going on? Here we go. All right. This is better. So there's a person that said, "I have $70,000 in credit card debt. Dave Ramsey, please help me." So let's watch the video. And then every once in a while, I'm going to pause it and give you my feedback. All right. Hang on here 1 second. Let me make sure. Let me do this right here. Let's share some sound. How about that? Boom. All right.
Carrie is in Dallas, Texas. Hi, Carrie. Happy New Year.
Hey,
Hi.
Dave. Happy New Year to you too, and thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Okay, so I'm your problem child. I have lots of credit card debt, to the tune of $70,000
Wow.
in credit card debt,
Bless your
and
heart.
yeah,
Bless your heart.
and I, purchased my first home 4 years ago almost, and lots of things went wrong with it, but that wasn't all the debt. And I was given advice from a friend a year ago to just stop paying the credit card debt. They were all 0%, and all the interest rates started. I knew they were about to skyrocket, and it was going to get to the point when I couldn't even make minimum payments anymore. And so they just said, quit paying, just stop paying. And I did try to call several of them, and they weren't willing to negotiate anything with me. They didn't want to talk to me because I was current on everything.
Yeah, of
And I
course.
had always been.
Of course.
Yeah. So what usually happens if you have credit card debt is, if you are current, the lady is right. They're not going to negotiate with you. The credit card companies are not going to negotiate with you. The ideal situation is if you are in over your head and too much credit card debt. What you need to do is, depending how many cards, obviously if they're all of them, it gets a little crazy, but there's still a way out. It's not the end of the world. You're not a bad person. It's not your fault. It's okay. Whatever Dave Ramsey says, it's not your fault. Things happen. Dave Ramsey went bankrupt, just so you know. Okay. He went bankrupt, went in over his head selling properties, didn't work out so well, and he did not pay back his debt. So that's something. So you got to think about it. Now, I think Dave has come a long way recently. He's come a long way because it is a huge problem with credit cards, huge problem. But here's my advice, and let's see if Dave would say the same thing. If you have a credit card and it's ridiculously high, or let's just say it's a low one, maybe it's $5,000, $4,000. Pick one credit card and don't pay that one for 90 days. You can do that with all of these, but you're going to get a lot of phone calls. So pick your battles. Let's just say you had 3 or 4 credit cards, just don't pay any. And we're talking about people that are maxed out. If you're okay with paying it all off, pay it all off, honestly, because it's ridiculous, the interest. But I'm talking to people that are in over their head right now with credit cards. Don't pay them for 90 days. They will call you. They will send you mail. They will call you. This is where you negotiate, especially if you've been current and then all of a sudden 90 days, boom. what you could do is you could apply for financial relief. Basically, they give you a break. Capital One is fantastic for this. American Express is fantastic for this. They have programs in place where they charge you 0 interest. Get this, 0 interest on your credit cards. So let's just say you have a $4,000, $5,000 credit card. You can negotiate with them a payment plan and stretch it out over 5 years with 0 interest. Does that take the pressure off you? You bet you believe it. You better believe it. It will take off all the pressure. But don't miss a payment because it doesn't go very well with you. Negotiate that. So, but what I would do is I would add a bit of a caveat to it. I would say, you know what, I'm going to do the payment. I would like 0 interest, and I would also like you to put my credit score back up to where it was. You bastards, you knocked my score down. Don't say bastards. Don't say that. But they can actually put your credit score back to where it was before the 90 days. So you're going to take a bit of a hit for 90 days. Your credit score is probably going to drop 60 points or something like that. You're going to take a bit, take one on the chin. But because it's unsecured credit, there's not too much they can do. If they don't work out something, they'll write it off. So I encourage you to pay it back, but on your own terms. So if you wait 90 days, then you can negotiate and 0 interest, tell them you pay it all back. And sometimes they'll actually come down. So don't get too excited about saying you're going to pay it all back up front. Just say, you know what, things are tight, whatever, pandemic, lost your job, whatever it is, they don't really care. They're just willing to negotiate with you because they do not want to lose your services, your payment. So negotiate that, 0 interest, put your credit score back up, and then prepare in the next, either that phone call or the next few phone calls for them to make an offer. They might say something ridiculous like $4,000. So maybe you owed 5 and they're like, if you can come up with 4, let's square this away. Your card will still be good to go. That's another thing. Make sure that they're not closing down your credit card. You can actually turn off your credit card or get them to turn it off, but do not tell them not to close the credit card, because if they close it, it's better if they keep it open. And then just wait for them to negotiate. If they say $3,000, $2,000 might be crazy, but they will negotiate with you. Just say, you know what, can you do $2,000? Let's take care of this. Boom, done. Bob's your uncle, done. So let's hear what Dave has to say here. Let's go back. Come on, Dave.
So now they're all coming full circle.
All right, I'll tell you what. Hold on. When we come back from this break, we'll get the rest of your story. And see if
Commercial
we can
break.
help you. We're talking with Carrie in Dallas, Texas. She ran up $70,000 in credit card debt as the interest rates went from 0 to full blown, as they always do. She was unable to make the payments. Her friend suggested she stop. And that's about how far we got in the conversation. What else is going on, Miss Carrie?
Yes, sir. Well, I started working your program last month. I reached out and a financial advisor found me, and we've already met. She's got me on a budget. I've done plastic surgery. I've done all her homework. We're meeting Friday, as a matter of fact, again.
Great.
For the new update. Things are actually going great.
I was going to say, you
Believe it or
actually,
not.
while you're out of control, you're starting to feel in control.
I'm more in control. I mean, it's the first time I've ever been on a budget before.
Yeah.
I checked out every dollar, but I think with all this default debt, I felt that you need a budget, or ynab.com was better for me.
I don't.
Because of all this unknown. I don't know. So
you need to get on every dollar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be much better. You just need to run 2 debt snowballs is all.
Okay, so I've got all my default debt. I just settled and paid 2 of them. I knocked 2 of the cards off myself.
Mm-hmm.
I got summons for 2 others through the same collection agency or law firm. And I did get a lawyer for the first one and could kick myself because I realized I could do it myself.
Yeah, you don't need a lawyer. Once it gets to collections, they can't really touch you. I would just hold out to make a deal with them. But if you're dealing with the actual credit card company like American Express, Capital One, Bank of Montreal, PC, what else do we have? We have the banks are a little bit harder. I'll admit that they're a little bit harder. If push comes to shove, what you could do is switch bank accounts. This is a little bit tricky. It's a little bit of a tricky maneuver, but move all your money to another bank, whether it's across the street somewhere else, and then that bank can't scoop your money, especially if it is a major bank. If you have a credit card with a major bank, because they will scoop your money. So do not be late on those. Be late on everything else. Any of your other non-secure credit cards, you can be late or whatever, especially if you're working on like Dave's snowball plan. But do not be late on your phone bills. Do not be late on your bank credit cards because they do not work with you. So you negotiate with all the other credit card companies. And once you pay those off, then you can leverage with these banks and make sure that you maintain your relationship, be on the phone with them, they will make payment arrangements with you, but they don't move. They don't have any wiggle room. But if you move to another bank account, then you can leverage it by not paying for 90 days and do the same thing. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, you could negotiate down, no interest, put your credit score back on, all this kind of stuff. But if you can't move your money out, you have to pay the minimum payment on time. In fact, do it like 1 or 2 days early. See what Dave has to say.
So he settled for me on the first one, and then I guess it gave me the template to know how to do it. So that's what I paid for. But I settled the second one. My question is, on the debt snowball with those, they're going to be coming at me, the different amount are coming at me. And once it goes, I get a summons, I've got.
Okay, she's misled when she says summons. It's not summons. Credit card collection agencies are notorious for harassing you, all this kind of stuff, calling you on Saturdays. I've had that. But they can't do anything. That's why they yell at you, they scream at you. They can't. These are non-secured credit. Banks, like line of credit, that's secured. Student loan, that's secured. Car loans, those are secured as well. And you don't want to miss any of that stuff. What you don't have to worry about is like American Express, even though they're notorious, but they've been good to me. Capital One is always good, and that's who my bank recommended. Try Capital One, especially prepaid credit cards, build up your debt, all this kind of stuff. Any of the banks or any of the credit cards that are not a bank, you can negotiate with. You just take your sweet time, make sure it's in your best interest. If you can only pay $20, pay $20. But my recommendation is don't pay anything for 90 days and then negotiate with those ones. With your banks, like I mentioned, you want to make sure and be current and work out payments, all this kind of stuff. But the easiest thing is to move your money. Oh, it's not easy, but move your money to another bank that forces them to work with you. It's not that you don't want to pay. It's just that you need leverage. Let's see what he has to say.
Got to settle those out.
No, you don't.
So I don't.
No.
Okay. Different amount are coming out on the debt snowball.
I'm just going to back it up a bit.
With those, they're going to be coming at me, the different amount are coming at me. And once it goes, I get a summons, I've got to settle those out.
No, you don't.
So I don't.
No.
Okay.
They can sue you, but in Texas they really can't do anything.
Well, I thought they could get control of my bank account, which would be
Not in Texas.
not in Texas. I thought they can't
garnish you your
my wages.
Well, you don't need to give them your bank account information.
Right. Well, I figured I could just switch bank accounts if that were the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
we're not going to let them create the emergency. We're going to let you create it. So all of this entire $70,000 is in default.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what other debts do you have?
I only have my my home loan, which I owe $178 on that.
You current?
I have a car. I am current. I'm current on everything else.
Okay.
The car I owe $7,000.
Perfect.
And
what's your income?
I still owe $12,000. My income is $78,000.
Okay.
And I'm also working. I've been doing Uber Eats on the side, delivering, and I was able to pull in $500 last week. So
way to go!
That's awesome.
I'm planning to just keep attacking that as well.
You're inspiring. I mean, you're inspiring. You made a huge mess, and then when you
I agree. Very inspiring. She's working part-time. She's making extra cashola to get rid of her credit card debt. Like I said, my suggestion would be to keep your credit cards, pay them down, keep them open, but you can lock them, you can turn it off so that no additional money goes off of those credit cards for payments, whatever it is. And just pick on the smallest one. Like he said, he's got some good advice here. He does. He really does. He has good advice on credit cards. He's come a long way from yelling at you. It's your fault. It's your fault. So I don't think that's the tactic that we need to use, because people, we buy emotionally. We are emotional beings. We buy emotionally. So I'm glad he softened up a little bit.
you decide to do something about it, you got a template from the lawyer, you met with a financial advisor, you're working your plan, you picked up an extra job.
Made a budget.
You made a budget. You're doing everything. You are really on fire. I'm so proud of you.
For what I do. So I am, and I just want to keep this fire and take care.
So as you get little summons, if you want to stop and settle those, that's fine. But if you get one that's a huge one, just let it sit.
There's one coming up. It's like 8,000. It's 8,200. And I told them, I spoke with them on the phone, and she wasn't willing to talk to me she wanted me to make a good faith payment. I said, we're not doing that today. I just need to know what you would be willing to settle for so I can, plan for that and be able to give that to you in a month or two. And she goes, I can't do anything with you right now.
That's good.
Yeah. You don't want to lay your cards out and say, you know what, I'll pay this off in 3 months. That is like, they get hungry, they salivate. You just say, you know what, I can't, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to solve this? Things are tight. Here's what I can do. You take control.
Then hang up.
And so I said,
listen,
I'll
go
just
ahead and
respond to
slam
your
the
letter.
phone down just for the satisfaction. Just for the satisfaction. The woman, if she's going to act like she's a test pilot for a broom factory, treat her that way.
Okay.
That was her decision, not yours. Yeah, it's not, that's all a technique. That's called intimidation. And don't let them do that to you. You got a plan. You're on fire. You got a system. And so what you're going to do, here's what's going to happen, okay? You have 3 different summons and or collectors coming at you, and you have $2,000 sitting there. This is in the future.
Right.
This is in the future. What you're going to do is just, you're going to mess with every one of them. You're going to go, I got $2,000. Who wants it first? If you take it, you will get that as a settlement on $8,000. That's behind door number 1. If you don't, then we're going to go.
Yep, exactly. So if you wait the 90 days, hold off. If you have, I've seen this happen firsthand. If you owe $14,000, $15,000, they're going to talk you down. They're going to talk you down from the ledge. They're going to make you ridiculous offers that you're going to be like, is this insane or what? And if you have cash, if you have $2,000, $3,000, like you said, $4,000, whatever, just say, you know what? This is all I have right now is $2,000. I have 2 more credit card companies that I'm talking with. Would you like this $2,000 right now? If they say yes, then you say, I want my credit to be paid in full and I want that in writing because they record everything. And you pay the $2,000, the account is closed, your credit card is still open, done. You just saved yourself $12,000.
Go to door number 2, and whichever one of you calls me back first, that's who's getting this money. I'll get back to the rest of you later when I got some money. And this is a game show, baby, and just have some fun with it, right? And then you know how to settle it.
Right.
You've got the template
Okay.
to do that. Get it in writing and do not allow them electronic access to your checking account.
Right.
That way they don't know where the flip it is.
Right.
And they don't clean you out
And
on
then
the rest of your
with
plan.
that I did settle on, this law firm I did the 2 that I settled on, I do not need to pay online or anything like that, or because it is in a settlement, am I safe to just go online and pay them? Or do I need to do the cashier's check every time? What do you
If
think?
online means they have your bank account information, do
Yeah, I
not
would
do
think
that.
they would.
Do not do that.
Don't do it. Okay.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to ask.
Because once they have that, if they're unscrupulous, and
Mhm.
some of them are, they can
Right.
turn around and clean out your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you're going to get around to working with everybody. We're not trying to ditch them. We're
Mhm.
not trying to be a deadbeat. We're just not going to be abused, and we're going to play them against each other until we get through this.
So I need to start with my default debt snowball, smallest to largest on that. I do have 3 cards that are current
I'd knock them out if you can.
that are smaller amount.
I'd knock them out
Knock
if you
those
can.
first.
Yeah, go ahead and knock them out.
Okay.
Current
And
ones.
again,
That's what I thought, but my advisor was saying, telling me different. And
well, normally
I just felt like I
what we
needed
tell
to
you,
attack
what
them.
your advisor was trained to do, and
Okay.
normally what we tell you is run 2 debt snowballs. Run your current stuff and pay it off
Right.
first, and let all the stuff that's in default just sit. And once
Okay.
you've gotten rid of the car payment and the 3 active credit cards, everything but your house, then that gives you more cash flow to deal with the stuff that's in default. That's our normal routine. You got a few of them coming
Mhm.
at you right now, and so if you want to kind of dodge around a little bit, head fake, and jump in and out of that, and jump over and knock out one of those summons, that's okay. There's not a bad thing here.
Okay.
What I don't want you to do is I don't want them threatening you or giving you a hard time or bossing you around to become the priority. Instead, you set your priorities. You have power over money for
Okay.
the first time in your life, Carrie. Use it.
Right.
You make the
Well, don't
decisions.
worry about them taking me to court then,
Nope,
because sometimes you
Nope.
feel pressure to settle
Nope.
before court.
We can settle after court
Okay.
just as good. Not worried about it.
Okay, but I thought that they would do the full amount plus court costs.
Nope.
with
Well,
that.
they will, but we're also going to negotiate that down to 10 cents on the dollar.
Okay.
And they're going to be
Well,
happy
these
to get
aren't
it.
junk debt.
It is junk
These
debt.
aren't junk debt.
It is junk debt. It's
Okay,
credit card
they
that's in
are.
default. It's called junk debt.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Because they all say they're representing the card itself. It's just
Well, I don't give a crap.
the third party stuff.
They either own it or they don't, but when they get ready to sell it, they're going to sell it for a nickel on the dollar.
Right.
And so that's what it's worth to them. It's junk debt.
Okay.
It's almost
Yeah.
a year since they've been paid. They have their probabilities. They know their probability is almost 0. It's 5% chance they're going to get paid. And the fact that you're working with them gets them all excited. You actually have a phone number that works. Everybody else in their database doesn't. I mean, that's who they're dealing with. And so you're like a unicorn for them.
Yeah, so that one was pretty good. I was thinking that maybe, let's see here. Let's stop the share. All right, so that one was pretty good. Dave laid down some good advice. The biggest takeaway is don't get pushed around by these guys. Don't get pushed around. It's not secured. It's junk debt, especially if you're in default for 3 months or more. If you avoid them for more than 3 months, it gets a little bit trickier, but it just means that you can't get another credit card for a while down the road, especially with that company. That's why I say keep negotiating, having the credit cards open so that when you pay it off in full, you still have those credit cards, because it'll be a few years before you can even go back to that credit card, and probably be longer than 6-7 years to go back to that specific credit card company. So You don't want to do that. You don't want to burn all the bridges, but you want to leverage yourself. And the way to leverage is to, especially if you're in over your head, wait 90 days. They'll negotiate with you because they're desperate now. They want to clean this up. They want to get it off their books before Christmas time. You can figure out payments. You can lower them down to almost nothing and have a decent Christmas. Buy some presents for your kids. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope this helped. And I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.